Hey, Facebook and Instagram, we're just doing a quick little, what's your address? It's mfallat@dreamstarterspgh.com. Yes, send me an email now and I'll get back to you. We're just doing a Facebook Live. I want to give a little story about the power of story. People don't realize that the way you gain people's attention in this world, no matter if you go to church, whether you're listening to a politician, whether you're listening to your boss at work, it all comes back to the power of story. And so as an entrepreneur, you need to use that to your advantage. Nobody cares about you or your business early on. They really only care about what it could do for them. And if they don't know you, they don't like you, and they don't trust you just yet, you're not going to have their attention to teach them what you want to teach them. What's going on, buddy? New Way Coach Kate. I love that name, by the way. Totally inspiring. Off to work now. Great timing to hear this little bit, though. Yeah, watch the replay later on. There's a cool little story I want to share with you guys. If any of you know, people on Facebook, I just wanted to show you what we do is we help entrepreneurs write and publish best-selling books. Here's a book by Margot Sandy, if you're out there. Lynette Farlow, James Gurick. It's my book, Dreamstarter, the Startup Business Guide, the Die-Hard Entrepreneur. All bestsellers, by the way. The Millionaire's Guide by Cedric Penn. Table of Dreams just came out. Takes about 45 to 60 days for us to write it, or if you want to write it, we offer 2 different services. $3,495 for us to ghostwrite your book. That's an incredible deal since we do about 18,000 words for a book. New Way Coach Kate, if you want to send me your email, I can send you a free copy of my book too. I love the stuff that you post and like on my feed, and I really appreciate that. But a story, Drake, what's going on, buddy? You can't piss on hospitality. I won't allow it. I need to get Troll 2 in the background, don't I? Anybody who knows Troll 2, I want to do a giveaway soon. For everybody who can answer certain questions, I want to send a free copy of Troll 2. It's a very great written, great performed story. I think you guys will all like it. But there's a story about Steve Wynn I want to share with you guys. And it just shows the power of story. If you guys have any questions, just write down in the comments here on Facebook or on Instagram. Steve Wynn's a real estate developer in Vegas, and he came from nothing in the 60s. He started building resorts in Vegas, and one of the things that he built was, I guess, the Bellagio he was instrumental in. But he has Steve Wynn Resorts, and he realized in order for him to sell his service, to get customers, to get people to come to his casinos, it all came back to a story he had to share. And he was struggling for a while to get great customer service reviews. People weren't, giving him reviews from their stay at the resorts. They weren't letting him know how they felt about it. And he didn't know how to connect the dots between him, his employees, and his customers. So what he did was offer some type of like an incentive for every morning or every night the crews would get together and they would share their best customer service story. Weren't talking about what they're trying to accomplish that day. They weren't trying to talk about the sales figures or different statistics that they should be paying attention to. They just got around and had story time with everybody. And maybe it could be the lowest level bellhop boy, or it could be the highest level gaming salesperson on their floor, whatever it is. All hierarchies of the company. They'd get together and they'd tell stories. And what he learned from all this was one day I think it was a person in his parking lot just parking cars, saw a really, really helpless 85-year-old, 90-year-old woman crying her eyes out. And so he went up to her, and this is just like a bellhop or some type of guy just parking cars, went up to her and asked, "Why are you crying so much? What's going on? What can I do to help you out?" And she said when she got there, she realized that the medicine for her husband was not in their bag, and they forgot it at home. And they actually forgot it on the probably, or it was in the driveway or something. Or they forgot a bag that was there. So she was crying her eyes out. And he asked her where she lived. She said it was about, I guess it was probably like 6 hours away. They came 6 hours. And so the location that she lived was about an hour away from where this kid's brother lived. And he told her, and this is, I think, right around 9 o'clock at night or something, what I'm going to do is I'm going to call my brother, and we're going to drive to your house. We're going to pick up that medicine, and my brother's going to drive here through the night. And we'll make sure you go to sleep tonight knowing that that medicine will be here by the time you wake up. This is an older woman, didn't know what to do. She goes to the room, goes to sleep. The bellhop's brother goes, picks up the medicine, brings the medicine to that casino 6 hours away, and eventually puts the medicine in the door for her to wake up to and actually see. No matter what they did to any other person that day, that story trumped anybody else's story. And do you really believe that that older woman will go to any other casino from there on out? And the answer is absolutely not. That one story has affected that older woman's life. And so what she's going to do is share that with all of her friends and family. And will tell everybody, hey, this is what happened to me. I was in dire need of medicine. They went completely out of the way. They didn't expect any more payment. And they brought the medicine to my front door in my hotel room 9 hours later or something. So not only is it going to affect that one woman, but it's going to affect everybody else, and their heart's not going to be involved. What Steve Wynn did next was he heard this story, and he filmed this kid telling this story and started sharing it around in their closed loop, I guess it's intranet. Their whole resort could see what they were posting, not the full internet. And all the other people who worked at the hotel, whether they were just the cleaners or whether they worked in the casino, they all heard this story. And so Steve Wynn put this contest up. Anybody who does this, we're going to promote you. We're going to put you in front of everybody for everybody to see how much you're affecting our guests. And that one story, by him being filmed and talking about it, affected other parts of the business, other parts of his casino, and even other casinos. And their customer service scores were starting to skyrocket. And the reason why is because these people started telling their daily stories. The best customer service story of the day would be filmed and broadcasted all around the other casinos. And it was total recognition. So what this one kid did for this old lady affected thousands and thousands of people. In addition to it, it helped out any customer to come to that resort from there on out, because the people started to try more. It wasn't for more money. It was to realize that everything they did was affecting someone somehow. And the story will always live on, whether it's good or bad. And the better you become at telling a story or even helping someone in their own story, the more you're going to live on. And recognition comes your way. It's funny how all these true mentors of mine that I read about or even I know personally, they always talk about you take care of your employees first for them to take care of your customers, and then you worry about the shareholders last. Because if you take care of an employee, they're going to take care of a customer, give them an experience that they'll never forget, give that warm, cozy feeling, give them an amazing experience, and that keeps them coming back, that keeps their friends coming back, that keeps them sharing their great information, great stories on social media, and that will incentivize people to come back to your location, which keeps the shareholders happy. But anybody have any questions out there, either on Facebook or Instagram, on how to write your own book? Like with this, I'm a big believer in keeping your story very, very, very simple. What you should do is do 50%. I always talk about 50-50 rule, where it's 50% personality and entertainment, and then 50% value. Most people are going to pick up your book and skim right through it. You want the important stuff to be bolded so that you can just go right to it and say, oh, okay, I know what he's talking about here. I know what his story is, what he's trying to convey in his story. Oh, I get to know, like, and trust him within a couple minutes. Okay, if it intrigues me, I'm going to read the rest of it. Same with Waldorf Astoria story. That's how I became the. Oh, I didn't know that. I got to look into it. Waldorf Astoria. I got to look into that, Margot. But when you write your own book, remember, you don't have to go into extreme detail. The great speakers out there, they don't go and give you grand ideas. They keep things very simple and relatable. You want to do that with your book. Share a little bit about your life and then something you've learned along the way that's helped you get to the next stage of your life. That's what people want to hear. That's what is important to do here. But I want to give a shout out to Rachel. Rachel, I'm glad you got back in contact with me. I haven't seen you for so long, and since actually I think it was high school or maybe college, and it looks like you want to write your own book. I hope you do. That's amazing if you do. It sounds like you went through a lot with bullying and all kinds of different things, which I had no clue about, but that's hopefully you use all those struggles for good. And the world really does love a story of struggle, because like I said, most people can relate to that. And if there's a beginning where you're the hero of your story and they get to know you a little bit, and then you talk about the struggle period and then the triumphant part where the resolution, that's key to every great story. And here's for everybody watching us on Facebook Live or even on Instagram now or later. There's a girl named Rachel I went to high school with, and I actually dated her, took her out on a date. I don't think she knows this yet, so I'm going to give a little secret information here. And I drove a 1988 Honda Civic, a real shitty car. It didn't even start during the daytime when I first got it because the engine would get too hot. And there's a little electronic piece that wouldn't allow it to start if it was too hot and the sun was beating down on it. So I called it the Night Rider. Anyway, we got that fixed. I take this girl out on a date. She really wasn't interested in me at all. And she was out of my league. There's no doubt about it. And so I picked her up. And before I picked her up, my roof leaked real bad. Poured down. Anytime it would rain or snow or anything, it would leak down and make the passenger floor completely soaking. And in the middle of the winter, I actually took her out to, I don't know if we went to a restaurant or some dance or something. I don't know what it was. But I didn't know what to do because the floor was completely soaking wet. And so I tried to vacuum it out beforehand, but it was just so wet that I couldn't do it. Anyway, I went to go pick her up. And I know in my head that if she even touches that floor, it's going to be like a soaking, a puddle almost. And I felt ashamed because there's this pretty girl that I'm picking up in this really shitty Honda Civic. And what am I going to do whenever I have to tell her that my roof leaks? What am I going to do? I'm going to look really bad in front of this girl. No, I couldn't tell her her roof leaks. So she gets in, dressed real nice high heels, all this, puts her purse on the floor. And I didn't know how bad the puddle was at this moment, but it was bad. So we get out of the car. We get out of the car when we get to the restaurant or whatever it is, and she pulls up her purse, and it is soaking wet, like dripping wet. And she gets all hysterical and, oh, what's going on here? Why is my purse leaking? What's happening here? And once again, I didn't want to look bad, so my gut instinct told me to just say, well, Rachel, why didn't you brush your feet off from all the snow? You must have dragged a lot of snow in from, jeez. But next time you get in the car, just brush the snow off your feet if you can. There is no way. She had to have known. I don't know if she knew this or not. If she is watching, I apologize, Rachel. You didn't drag the snow in from your feet that day in 2003, 2002. It was because I was driving a Honda with a roof that leaked and the car that barely started. I was probably praying that it started when I said pick you up. So I hope you forgive me. Anyway, going back, the power of story. Use your story to your advantage. I guess I couldn't really use that story to my advantage back then, but I can now to show you. Now I go from the 1988 '88 Honda Civic to my dream car, which is a Jeep Wrangler. A little bit of struggle, and eventually got what I really wanted. Any questions about writing your own book, guys? Well, let me know. And Drake, if you're still watching out on Facebook Live, don't forget Troll 2. We are going to be doing a giveaway for that. Hope you guys like it. Tell your story, guys. Tell it. Nobody does business with anybody they don't know, like, and trust. Remember, you want to get them to know you and know you well. Thanks, guys.